Oklahoma State University has unveiled its new strategic plan for the future. Find out what's in store for students. A new issue throughout Stillwater, the city announced a staffing shortage in waste management. Also, the Stillwater Police is now asking for your help to locate an individual accused of using an unauthorized credit card and theft of a vehicle. All of this and more. The Daily O starts now. Good evening, and welcome to the Daily O. I'm Tyler Tripodi, filling in for Brody Myers. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's a new era for Oklahoma State University under President Casey Schrum. Earlier this week, the university unveiled its strategic plan for the future, aimed to become the preeminent land-grant university. The new plan covers a wide range of topics and initiatives that are aimed to enhance student career placement, improve higher education, and set new records for student scholarships. Some of the future goals of the university include the enhancement of human and animal health, leading in the aerospace program in innovation and application internationally, as well as increasing six-year graduation rates by 10% by the year 2027. The strategy also outlines the university's plan to continue to enhance its athletic reputation. On top of that, one major goal for the school includes ranking among the top 30 in public universities for the awards of national and international competitive scholarships. An assistant professor for Oklahoma State has been awarded a near $3 million grant. Adam Roth, associate professor for the Department of Sociology, was awarded the grant from the National Institute of Health for research done on rural-urban disparities in cognitive aging. According to the article from the Ocali, Roth and his team plan to use the funds to advance research being made in the effects of cognitive aging. Roth and his team will continue to conduct assessments of social activities and interactions of adults and how they engage in those relationships. Cognitive aging has been a rising factor throughout the nation. According to the Alzheimer's Associations, over 6 million Americans have been diagnosed with the disease that is yet to have found a cure. Roth says that the data he and team collects can help inform their approach to other public health issues such as loneliness, social isolation, and access to social and health services. Stillwater Police Department is now asking for your help with locating a suspect for usage of an unauthorized credit card and larceny of a vehicle. The suspect was last seen at a local gas station using a stolen credit card to fill up a silver Ford Escape. While the vehicle is not the one that is reported stolen, the Escape is seen to have a black bug guard on its hood. Anyone with information about the suspect is urged to call the Stillwater Police tip line. In local news, the city of Stillwater is now facing a staff shortage that is forcing the city to make some difficult changes. Our Brody Myers finds out more.
Stillwater residents are dealing with a change to one of their city services. A lack of manpower and commercial driver's licenses put Stillwater officials in a tough position.
We reached a decision that before we lost more personnel due to, frankly, just overworking, that something had to give, and that something turned out to be glass and yard waste pickup.
McNichol added that 2 city employees are currently obtaining their CDL. He estimates that will ease the burden by November 1st.
In years past, Stillwater residents could just take the recycled glass, get one of these tubs, and plop it in there. Now, they have to take it on the road.
They can take glass and yard waste in unlimited quantities to the Convenience Collection Center in the 800 block of South Perkins Road.
That being said, no trailers are allowed on the property.
One issue at the Convenience Center is that we do not allow trailers. The problem is that the site is small enough that it becomes impossible to maneuver a trailer once you're inside the site, and it blocks other people from being able to move around inside the site as well.
Stillwater residents may also include glass and yard waste in their regular trash, but
we would prefer to keep that out of the waste stream because it fills up the landfill, and there are other things that can be done with those products that can recycle it and turn it into mulch and other things.
despite all of these snafus the city faces, regular trash pickup will not be affected.
No, we would move heaven and earth to continue trash pickup.
For the Daily O in Stillwater, I'm Brody Myers.
To learn more about job openings for the city, visit stillwater.org. Thank you for that, Brody. Time to take a quick break, but when the Daily O returns, the housing market has now reached a 20-year high. We'll tell you all about it in your national headlines. Also, it's been a beautiful day in Stillwater. Will that continue into the week? Find out more when the Daily O resumes.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation, posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Welcome back to the Daily O. Tyler Tripodi filling in for Brody Myers tonight. It's time to take a look into your national headlines. A federal judge in West Virginia has blocked a law banning possession of firearms with the serial numbers removed. Judge Joseph Goodwin ruled that firearms with the serial numbers filed off should be considered legal under the Constitution. The judge cited a recent Supreme Court decision that holds the constitutional right to bear arms as fundamental. Judge Goodwin acknowledges that guns without serial numbers are more likely to be used in a violent crime. But, as he wrote, this is, quote, the exact type of means and reasoning the Supreme Court has forbidden me from considering, unquote. Goodwin believes his is the first federal court to address the serial numbers issue. For those who have had COVID but haven't felt like your normal self, you're not alone. A study suggests nearly half of symptomatic COVID patients are not fully recovered after more than 6 months. Researchers examined data on tens of thousands of people in Scotland. In questionnaires, 60% said they did not recover and 42% only partially recovered more than 6 months after being infected. Researchers found similar results across 12-month and 18-month periods. Persistent COVID symptoms included breathlessness, chest pain, palpitations, confusion, and more. The researchers said the lack of recovery was associated with more severe infections, older age, being female, Black, and South Asian ethnic groups, as well as pre-existing respiratory disease. The study was published Wednesday in the journal Nature. Bad news for the housing market. The latest figures show mortgage rates have hit a 20-year high, according to Freddie Mac. In the week ending Thursday, the average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was 6.92%. That's the highest average rate since April 2002, and more than double what the rate was a year ago. The Federal Reserve has been hiking interest rates to combat rising inflation, and that has caused concerned investors to make moves impacting the mortgage rates. Freddie Mac's chief economist warns the next several months will undoubtedly be important for the economy and the housing market. He notes home sales are already dropping and prices are cooling. Most of the United States is parched, and it's getting worse according to the latest update from the U.S. Drought Monitor released Thursday. 55% of the country is experiencing drought conditions. The drought has been spreading since the beginning of September and now covers more of the nation than it has since April. More than 133 million people live in drought areas, which is the highest number since 2016. That's primarily because highly populated regions like the Southeast and Midwest are now experiencing droughts. The Mississippi River is experiencing critically low water levels, so are many of its tributaries like the Illinois, Ohio, and Missouri rivers. Back here in Stillwater, residents were stopping by Stillwater Regional Airport for some Bab's burritos in some beautiful weather. Taking a look into your 7-day forecast. Today we had a high of 88 and a low of 44. Tomorrow we're going to stick in that high 80s with a high of 87. It'll get down to 52. On Sunday, we'll have some clouds with a high of 76, and watch out as we'll get down into the low 50s there. And then looking into the next week, Monday through Thursday, we are experiencing sun, and more sun. Highs of 65, 57, 65, and 74 though, so it will be chilly, but look for that great weather to continue. Let's take a quick break, but when we return, Connor Bergen has you covered with sports. The Daily O will be right back.
I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in '99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class. We create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes, and we've done pumpkins during the fall. But our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Welcome back to the Daily O. Connor Bergen here with you to help navigate you through all you need to know in the sports world as we're heading into that weekend. So let's dive right on into things. Cowgirls soccer just snapped their undefeated conference record against the TCU Horned Frogs Thursday night. Our own Zach Mullis was there and has a recap.
Tough day at the office for the Cowgirls today as they lost 3-0 to number 10 TCU.
TCU had built up quite a resume coming into today's game. They had beaten number 16 Santa Clara 7-0, number 21 Texas A&M 2-1, and were undefeated in Big 12 play. Their two losses came from formidable teams, which were USC and number 2 Duke. While Oklahoma State may have had the better record going into the game, they had yet to play one ranked opponent in their schedule, while TCU had 5 coming into the game. TCU's experience showed in the first half, as they completely dominated possession and had some good chances. However, making her starting debut was sophomore goalie Ari Purifoy. Purifoy was able to make some great stops today to keep the Cowgirls in it, as TCU was putting incredible pressure on the defense. Coach Carmichael had this to say about her performance today.
Fantastic. When they did have chances to score, but when you break it down, they scored off 2 penalties and a corner kick that was a scramble. They certainly could have, they had other opportunities where they could have scored, right? But you can't blame Ari for any of those goals, not one. So I was really proud of her. I thought early she was a little nervous, it looked like, but once the game settled in, she made the plays she was supposed to make. So I was really, really proud of Ari. What a game to have to step into, right? A top 10 team. So pressure was on and she handled it great.
However, in the 15th minute, the Horned Frogs' pressure forced the Cowgirls to concede a penalty, which Cameron Lancaster converted. After the first goal, the Cowgirls continued to sit back and defend, and were able to not allow another goal before halftime. The 43rd minute was a hopeful minute for the Cowgirls, though, as Grace Yoakum was able to get a great chance off close to the keeper. However, TCU goalkeeper Lauren Kellett was able to make a diving play to stop it. Yoakum had this to say about her big chance.
Looking back at it, I'm gonna probably think about that one a little bit more, but at the end of the day, goalie made a great save.
After halftime, the Cowgirls decided to put a little more pressure on TCU. While the Horned Frogs still had majority of the possession, they definitely weren't as dominant with the chances they were creating. Pushing players up can work against you in soccer though, and TCU was able to show that as Messiah Bright was able to laser a shot in the top right corner after a ball dropped to her in the box in the 73rd minute. TCU would add one more goal from a penalty in the 84th minute as the Cowgirls were forced to push more players up. It's tough to allow 3 goals as a goalie, but Ari Purifoy did everything she could to stop as many shots as she could. She had this to say after the game.
I ain't gonna lie, I was a little nervous out there, but I'm known for being like a cocky player, like all my other teammates know, but today I'm not really like satisfied, but again, like I said, I do got a lot of work on.
The next game for the Cowgirls is on Sunday, October 16th at 1 o'clock against Iowa State. Let's hope the Cowgirls can ride the ship after tonight's disappointing loss. Reporting for Ocali TV, I'm Zach Morris.
Well, thanks for that, Zach. A heartbreaking loss indeed. Well, that isn't the only TCU and OSU matchup happening this week. Right now, Cowboy football is traveling down to Fort Worth to face off against the Horned Frogs this Saturday. The battle of both undefeated Big 12 teams is a top matchup to watch throughout the nation. Carlos Cortez has the preview.
After the win against Texas Tech, the Cowboys of Oklahoma State University are taking that energy on an away game when they are facing the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University on Saturday at 2:30 in Fort Worth, Texas. Both the Cowboys and the Horned Frogs are 5-0 this year. The Cowboys are 2-0 in the Big 12 and the Horned Frogs are 3-0. The Cowboys are entering this game after a close matchup against Texas Tech Red Raiders where they beat them 41-31, giving the Cowboys a 5-0 record and Tech a 3-3 record. Sanders threw for 297 yards and 1 touchdown and rushed for 56 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Dominic Richardson had 67 yards and 1 touchdown. Dominic Richardson expressed the importance of the run game is to free up the receivers for OSU on this game versus TCU.
Really important because if the running backs don't run hard, then they're going to start backing up a little bit and covering receivers. So the running backs need to run hard and physical, just so we can help them guys out in the perimeter to help the receivers get the ball and do their thing out there. So it's really important this game to the running backs to be really physical to get downhill.
TCU is coming off a big win after beating Kansas 38-31, getting a 5-0 record in the victory and putting Kansas 4-1. Cornerback Jabbar Muhammad expressed how good this year TCU's quarterback Max Duggan has improved.
I would say he's throwing the ball way better. Like his intermediate, his quick game, his deep ball is more accurate. I feel like his pocket presence is better too. So his passing is way better.
For quarterback Spencer Sanders has been a great start to the season. He has thrown for 1,394 yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. That has been a big factor this year for the Cowboys on protecting the football this season. Kickoff for this game is 2:30 at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. You can watch this game on ABC and the ESPN app. For Ocali TV, this is Carlos Cortez.
Thanks for that, Carlos. Now, 1 hour before kickoff, make Ocali TV your home to get prepared for the game. Our own Dylan Walker and the entire Ocali TV team will have you covered with the pregame show streaming exclusively on the Ocali TV app on Roku. Man, it feels like I haven't even gotten started, but let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll take a look at what happened on this day in sports history and some famous athletes' birthdays as well. Also, one Cowboy player looks to have a major chip on his shoulder for Saturday's matchup. Don't go anywhere. The Daily O will be right back.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pull behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
And welcome back to the final portion of the Daily O. Thanks for sticking with us so far. It's time to start turning the clocks back in the sporting world to see what happened on October 14th. Now, let's go back to the late 70s. The Edmonton Oilers' Wayne Gretzky scores his first career goal in the NHL against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Gretzky would end his career in 1999 after playing in 1,500 games, almost 1,500, holding the all-time goals record as he was inducted into the NHL and Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. Now, moving ahead into the early 2000s, Cubs fans, you may want to go grab a drink. In 2003, in the NLCS series between the Chicago Cubs and Florida Marlins, a fan interfered with a foul ball that Cubs outfielder Moises Alou had a chance to grab in the 8th inning to keep a no-hitter alive. That fan, later revealed as Steve Bartman, was booed out of the stadium as the Marlins then took the series win and then eventually won the World Series. And talk about a curse. Now, it's time to put on some party hats and wish a few athletes a happy birthday. Happy 52nd birthday to former NBA player Jim Jackson. The former Buckeye played over a decade in the league, winning a championship with the San Antonio Spurs in 2003. Jackson finished his career just 3 years later, averaging over 14 points in the league. A happy 42nd birthday to defensive back Terrence McGee. The former Pro Bowler spent 9 years in the league with the Buffalo Bills until retiring in 2012. McGee led the entire league in passes deflected in 2007 with 21. Last but not least, a happy 36th birthday to footballer Tom Craddock. The former striker played for a decade throughout his career, appearing in over 200 matches before retiring in 2016. Now, time to start moving on into some sporting headlines throughout the nation. And Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is facing more legal trouble over sexual misconduct allegations. Less than 2 months after Watson settled 23 lawsuits against him, a new civil suit was filed Thursday in Houston. The plaintiff says Watson pressured her into sexual activity during a professional massage in 2020 when he was a player for the Houston Texans. The Browns, the NFL, and Watson's attorney were contacted for comment. Watson previously settled all but one of the sexual misconduct civil lawsuits against him. He denied the wrongdoings in those cases. 2 grand juries declined to indict him on criminal charges. Now, limiting contact in practice may be one of the best ways to now reduce chronic head injuries in high school football. That's now according to a new study published Thursday in the journal Pediatrics. Researchers studied 3 teams in the Midwest during the 2021 season. They watched games, practices, and studied video. They found head hits were drastically cut when kids practiced air training, meaning drills without contact, which led them to conclude that a change in the way kids practice could reduce the effects of football on their brains. Football is the #1 sport with high school boys, but over the years, participation has declined as more have grown concerned about the long-term effects of brain injuries. Now, moving over to the NBA. Pistons guard Kemba Walker is now expected to be released following the Monday regular season roster deadline. Walker, who was acquired this offseason from the New York Knicks, will look to find a new home. Last year, the 8-year vet averaged over 11 points per game for the Knicks while shooting over 36% from beyond the arc. Now, before we let you go, while Cowboy football heads down to Cowtown, one Cowboy has a major chip on his shoulder every time he sees purple and white the Horned Frogs on that schedule. Ali Irizarry has more.
As the Cowboys look forward to their match against TCU this weekend, it's more than just a game for one Cowboy in particular.
Everything go. I let the grudge go, whatever. And So I don't really think about it a lot. I mean, we playing TCU this week, so yeah, I'm thinking a little bit. So I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to punish him. So.
Dominic Richardson says he let the grudge go. However, he admits that there is still a piece of him that thinks about it. Going into this game, he has one goal.
A lot, yeah. I was kind of, determined to get out there on the field with them guys and just run through everybody and just let them know that I'm here to set a tone just because of that reason. And now it's I let everything go, but I'm still ready. I'm still gonna run hard as I did last year, and even harder. So I'm ready to go.
You've been using.
However, in recent weeks, with focus being on the passing game, Richardson says he has been expecting to be thrown to and plans to make the most of his new opportunities on the field.
Kind of, sort of, not as much, but we did pass the ball a lot to the running back, so it's exciting to get out there in the open, just be one-on-one with a corner or a safety. It feels really good to be out there, so yeah.
And with the committee of running backs that OSU deploys, Richardson knows that play becomes easier.
Very nice. I mean, I'm not the only one who can just pound it over and over again. I have another backup who could do the same thing. So it feels good and helps my body a little bit. And I come back in fresh and do the same thing over and over. So I think that's a really big thing for the defense opponents that we're going to play, because they're not going to be ready for it.
Playing against an undefeated TCU team with wins against OU and Kansas, the running backs will have to remain as fresh as possible, and Richardson has a few keys to success for that.
It's going to be a big game. We're both undefeated. They have a great defense and a great offense, so from both sides of the balls, we know we got to be ready to go and make sure we're not missing assignments, no MAs, nothing like that. So we've been.
But Richardson's main key to success is his teammates.
It's been a lot, man. Not just on me, just for my team as well. I can't really point anything out for myself. It's always been with my line, on the quarterback, and especially with receivers too. Just running the ball outside the perimeter and just them blocking for me.
So watching guys like Ollie and CJ grow.
The matchup will take place at 2:30 p.m. at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. Reporting for Ocali TV, I'm Allie Irizarry.
Thanks for that, Allie. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to come back on Monday, as Grayson Singleton will keep you covered on all you need to know throughout the sports world this weekend. Enjoy it. Everybody, be safe out there. For the Daily O, I'm Connor Bergen. Good night.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
hopes are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it.